All right. So part 6. So basically, I was sharing with my grandmother. I was like, hey, the cancer, just say Cancer Association Hospital, whatever, called, and they was asking for you. She thought, oh, they probably had the wrong number, and just kind of dismissed it. But deep down inside, I'm like, she's sick. And I kept it in the back of my head. But of course, I didn't go around, talk to family members about it, like, hey, the cancer, blah, 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 called. I think grandma's sick. But I just knew something went right. And it just was confirmation why God was putting the urgency in my spirit to go and live with my grandparents. It was just like he was giving me this opportunity to have that last few years or those months with her while she was still here and healthy. Because it's like after I left, that's when she started really deteriorating, you know. But just to speed it up, eventually I went to, while I was there, I was like, okay, I just want to finish up school. So I enrolled in seminary grad school. So I ended up going back to Lincoln, Illinois, and I was attending Lincoln Christian University. And I was in the grad program. I got accepted into the counseling program. So I was going to become like some type of career therapist, something like that. But it was counseling. And then eventually I switched over to organizational leadership. But during that time there, I was actually in the tutoring department as a tutor / life skills coach. So I had to deal with the high risk incoming freshmen who were on academic probation, making sure they got off of academic probation that first semester so they wouldn't have to return to my office that second semester. And that was a success. None of them had to return. Some of them just wanted to come in and do their homework because they said it was peaceful and they could focus. But other than that, like I eventually, that was May. All this took place. So I would say that was May 2015 when I moved back to Lincoln, Illinois. So I got there in July 2014 with my grandparents. And then I moved out in May 2015. So I wasn't there that long. And I was just like, I just wanted to finish up with school. And I knew something, it was much more to do. But before I even applied to seminary grad school, I wanted to do a business trip. I got accepted into YWAM. Some of you may be familiar with YWAM, but look it up. Y as in yellow, W as in woman, A as in apple, M as in Mary. And look at YWAM, and those are YWAM missionaries. So these are like young adults, people who just go around, the country doing mission work. So I got approved and got accepted into that. And they invited me to Australia, but I couldn't, afford the money. I couldn't afford the fees, and I couldn't raise up the fees. So I was like, it's got to be something else I can do. So that's when I went to seminary school. So I was there. I was in Lincoln, Illinois from May 2015. And then things transpired when I was there. So it was like, this was different. Because I'm thinking like, okay, I've been in Lincoln. When I graduated with my associates, I was at Lincoln College in Lincoln, Illinois. So I'm thinking like, okay, it may be a little similar. But spiritually, I was already where I am spiritually. Like I start coming to my calling and an anointing on my life. And I was able to find a church within that town, but coming to find out that church was an occult. Meaning, if what I've learned, it was like certain people there operated witchcraft. They never dealt with it. Then they would do operate in manipulation tactics, meaning, if you leave this church, you will die. Or if you leave this church, you're not going to hear from God. Y'all, occults do that. That's a form of control. That's not God. Because it's like, as I was exiting that church, that's when attacks really started happening. And then oddly, the people connected to that church somehow got connected to. And then, not only that, but Set Up for Hope. There was some betrayal. Meaning, Janice, Stephen, and my youngest brother Dion, because I got to get on him too, they somehow intertwined it with people I was going to church with. Like somehow they always intertwined it with so-called friends that I had, or church members that I had that they didn't know like that. Somehow they would be friends on social media, or they'd just be close, interactive for some reason, which was odd. And it's leading up to what was been exposed to me even this year itself. I'm like, that don't even seem right. It's just like when they say, if someone's your enemy, why would you be? And then I see you friends with my enemies. That makes me skeptical of you. It's something like that situation, because I'm like, y'all don't even know them like that, or you never met. Why do I see the friends are common and this person is listed? Something's not making sense. Witchcraft. A lot of them operated in witchcraft because they were just doing different things, but it was like always try to keep an eye on me. So again, my aunt did a reading on me when I was a baby, found out about my destiny. She always wanted to have control of who was connected to me. She always needed insight on my life. The oldest brother always needed insight on my life. The youngest brother always needed insight on my life. So how else are they going to need, how else can they get the information? They needed someone connected to me, people close to me, people who's going to be around me. Hence the reason why on social media I see friends in common. Hence the reason why certain people, now that I think about it, certain questions they were asking, like, something is odd with that question. You know, like, yeah, that's weird. You know, so this is throughout the years. So speeding up, I was in at the Lincoln Christian University, and I was also in ministry. So I was like a team leader for the youth. I was part of the intercessory team, and I was also the event coordinator at this church. And then the pastor of this church was actually a police officer in that town. So I never had that before. Like, I'm not a police officer who's a pastor. So that was interesting. But a lot of stuff started going on. And I remember this one particular night, like, this is, I would say, a little bit before, a few weeks before I had to, like, really vacate that church, because I knew God was confirming to me, this isn't a cult. Because stuff started happening because of my prayers. Because you can be praying for certain things, right? But then God started having me hit on witchcraft. Speaking against witchcraft, speaking against spells, speaking against demonic things, speaking against demons. I even had books where Apostle Kimberly Daniels, Apostle John Eckhart, I had those books of speaking against these things and bringing that into prayer. And I noticed that when I start praying this type of way and I start really tapping into my anointing, that's when attacks at the ministry and attacks in that small town start to increase. And God was confirming to me, he's like, this isn't a cult. And I thank God I was able to make it out safe. But guess what? They didn't let me they didn't let me walk away silently. They didn't let me walk away without hearing something about it. So weeks before it, especially those who operate in witchcraft and all that, I'm pretty sure whatever gods that they refer to and all that and readings that they got done,